everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting what will hopefully be a not overwhelming amount of Christmassy content. I'm not someone who usually reads a ton of books that are Christmassy around this time of year. I love the holidays, I love the food, and I love spending time with family, and I love the feeling of the season a lot, but I've never been one for Christmassy books. I read Hogfather by Terry Pratchett, and that's about it usually. But then, this isn't a normal Christmas. This is the first Christmas that my partner and I are spending here together at our apartment. The past years that we've been together, we've always gone home to our families, but given the current world situation, we've decided to not do that. And while it's really exciting and we're really looking forward to spending Christmas together for the first time, I'm also trying to really consciously make sure that it feels like a holiday season, even though it's only the two of us here. That was a really long rambling intro to tell you that I've picked some books that I want to read this December that will hopefully help me get in that Christmas mood and hopefully just make everything feel that little bit more festive throughout the month. And I thought I would tell you about them in case any of you are looking for inspiration as well. The first of those is actually a physical book, and it's Letters from Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien. So every year when his children were children, Tolkien's kids would of course write their letters to Santa Claus, and being Tolkien, he wrote super extra letters back to them from Santa Claus. He tells stories, he has recurring characters, and it's full of illustrations. That's why I picked up a physical copy. I vastly prefer reading physical books if there's any sort of visual component. I just don't find ebooks are quite the same. Also, I'm really thinking that this will be a lovely book to put out on the coffee table for Christmases to come and to sort of flip through from time to time. So I think that's going to be delightful. I might save it for Christmas itself because I just think it's going to be so quick and so cozy and just so cute. The next book I'm hoping to read in December in general is The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. This isn't technically a Christmas book, but it's set in the Russian wilderness, and I think it's mostly set in the winter. And from the blurb, it sounds like there's an element at least of gathering around the fireplace and listening to stories type thing. So I think it's going to be really atmospheric and lovely. So this is set, as I said, in the Russian wilderness in I think around the 1400s? I'm not positive. But essentially, the main character's new stepmother has just arrived, and she's very devout Christian and very much set on not letting the family honor their household spirits. But of course, those household spirits aren't just a myth. They're actual things, and when the family stops honoring them, bad things start to happen, and the main character has to fight these things. I'm not totally sure. It sounds fascinating. I remember Lana from Lana Ex Libris read it over the summer, I think, and said it was both really good and kind of scary. I know scary probably doesn't sound like a usual Christmassy feeling, but I think this one might have a bit of a, because it's a little bit scary, it makes you feel even cozier effect of being inside where it's warm and it's, got some candles going on and it's cold and it's dark outside and you're reading something scary. It just sounds perfect for this time of year to me. I would also like to read The Physics of Christmas, From the Aerodynamics of Reindeer to the Thermodynamics of Turkey by Roger Highfield. This one is, I think, just completely lighthearted, fun, nonfiction science writing. From the blurb, it looks at questions people might have about Christmas. I think especially questions kids might have, how do reindeer fly? Or how would Santa visit all of these homes on the same night? And tries to give a scientific answer for them. I just think this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be a great one to read when we're hanging out around the house and sort of share little factoids from. And who knows, maybe I'll even learn some science. My next pick is another nonfiction read, and it's The Man Who Invented Christmas, How Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol Rescued His Career and Revived Our Christmas Spirit by Les Standiford. Now that's a title to try and get out. So we're just going from lighthearted Christmas science to lighthearted Christmas biography and history. As you have probably guessed from the title alone, this is about Dickens and where he was when he was writing A Christmas Carol and all of that side. And then I think also the state of the world and how the Christmas Carol impacted our experience of Christmas in the Anglophone world. I'll admit, I'm not a huge Dickens fan. Maybe that's because I last read him when I was in early high school and I wasn't ready. But even if I don't love Dickens, I can't resist some nonfiction history writing, and nonfiction history writing that's apparently lighthearted and cozy and heartwarming and about Christmas, I think that's what I need this December. Next, I have Hiddensee, The Tale of the Once and Future Nutcracker by Gregory Maguire. This is by the same author as Wicked, which I have not read or seen, but it's a retelling of the Nutcracker story, which I also have not seen and do not know much about. From what I know, in this version it's about an old toy maker who maybe has something mysterious about him, and he crafts this magical nutcracker toy and gives it to his sick goddaughter, who then I think is the little girl in the story. I don't know, I might have to do some reading about like, what even is the Nutcracker about before I read this? I haven't decided yet if I'm going to or if I'm just going to dive into this and see where it takes me. This book apparently looks at some somewhat deep themes of like life and death and hope and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't really know what to expect from it. I haven't read anything by this author and I'm not familiar with the story, but from the blurb it sounds like it might be really amazing, so I'm looking forward to giving it a try and maybe discovering something new that I love. My last non-fiction TBR pick for the month is Yule, A Celebration of Warmth and Light by Dorothy, Morrison, and Kate Thomsson. This is, I think, about both a history and like background to where we get a lot of our Christmas time traditions from and like the origins of them. And also seems to include like holiday party tips and recipes and craft ideas and stuff. Honestly, this sounds like it's going to either be so much fun or just kind of crappy. I don't really know, but it's a super short read and I like everything that it says it includes, so that's promising, right? Like, I'm not choosing this expecting it to be bad. I'm just not sure what to expect from it. And as I said, this is our first Christmas here together in our apartment, so I'm starting to think about like, what are some new traditions we want to incorporate? Obviously, we want to take the things that we love from our childhood celebrations, but also I think it could be kind of fun to build some new things that are just ours. So maybe this will give me some ideas for that, because it sounds like it has loads of recipes and crafts and like all sorts of random obscure traditions and stuff. And we can sort of pick some that sound fun to us. My last Christmas TBR pick is Sittaford Mysteries by Agatha Christie. This is one of her standalone novels, and I don't think it's like strictly a Christmas book. I don't think it's actually taking place over Christmas, but I've picked it over some of her other more Christmassy novels because I think most of the actual like Christmas Day falls in the span of the book ones are Poirot novels, and one, I just don't like Poirot that much. And two, I'm actually planning on reading another non-Christmas Poirot book in December, so I thought I'll pick a standalone, that should be fun. I've only read one of her standalone novels before, so this will be interesting. In the Sittaford Mysteries, a group of people is at like some sort of house in the countryside. You know Agatha Christie novels, they're always at a house in the countryside. When they get snowed in, and to amuse themselves, they're playing with some sort of psychic table game. From the sound of things, it sounds like a Ouija board, but they don't seem to call it that. I don't know. Anyway, they're playing the game like, oh haha, we're talking to spirits, this is very funny, we're not actually taking it very seriously. And then the game says that one of their friends, who's not there with them, has been murdered. And when they go to investigate, this man actually is dead. Then, of course, I think, you know, there's a killer on the loose. It's an Agatha Christie. We're solving crime. I'm including this one for similar reasons as I'm including The Bear and the Nightingale, because one, it sounds super wintry and lovely and snowy, so even if we're not having a white Christmas here, which is never guaranteed, it'll feel very cozy and wintry. How many times can I say that in this video? And also just like a group of people getting together in the winter for murder. Am I weird that that sounds like a fun thing to read over Christmas? Sometimes I think I need a little bit of something to like cut through the pure Christmas of it. Like, I love the season, but you don't want just sugar. And I say that as someone who loves sugar. Sometimes you need a bit of a break. I will probably read more books than this in December, but these are the ones that I've picked out specifically for their Christmassy feel to help me get in that holiday spirit. And I would love to hear down below, what are your favorite Christmas books? Do you have them? Are you a Christmas book reader? Please tell me about that. But also, if you can recommend any books about non-Christmas midwinter celebrations, I would love to hear about them. When I was preparing for this video, I tried to find books about other cultures' midwinter celebrations, be it fiction or non-fiction, and I really struggled to find things that weren't like Hanukkah for kids books, which I'm sure those books are great if you have kids, but not being a child, I was looking at something aimed at an adult audience. Maybe it's just that I wasn't trying hard enough or my Google skills are failing, but if you can recommend any, Please, please, please let me know down below if you can recommend any books about midwinter celebrations that aren't super Christianity focused. I would really appreciate that. That's it for this video. Regardless of what you celebrate in December, I hope that this month is delightfully cozy, wonderfully comforting, that if it's a time you spend with family, you get to spend lots of time with them. And since this is a book channel, that you have a great reading month. If you liked this video, please hit the like button down below. If you would like to see more of my videos, including some reviews of the books that I mentioned up above, please hit subscribe, and thank you for watching.